Hey, welcome to another episode of Real Conversation. I'm your host, Nicole Jones,
And I'm Shaquana's Harry.
and we would like to thank you guys for joining us here tonight. We have a great show lined up for you guys today. Quana, what's going on, girl?
Back for another Thursday night show, and I'm excited about it. It's gonna be a good time. Yeah. So, like Nicole said, thank you so much for joining us. Nicole, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantabulous, okay?
Ooh, okay. Fantabulous. All right, I'm not
Yes,
mad at it. I
ma'am.
love that. I love the energy. Let's keep going. I love that. Okay, let's shoot. Since you've done kicked it off with such great energy, let's go on to what we're talking about today, Nicole. What you got for us?
Okay, so basically, I came across, so actually, someone brought it to my attention. And Quana and I both spoke about it earlier because she happened to see the same thing. So it was really crazy. This topic is really crazy because we live in a world where, we depend on the police for, to help us, to keep us safe, to do what it is that they're supposed to do, right? So let's talk about something that should be a little bit concerning to everybody, not just criminals, not just police officers, and not just people who have something to hide. Flock cameras were created as law enforcement tools. They can help police locate stolen vehicles, find suspects, and investigate serious crimes. But what happens when people give access to when people other when people get access to this type of technology and start using it for their own personal reasons?
Hmm.
That is when the conversation gets uncomfortable. Man, I seen that, there was a few officers that ended up losing their jobs, they was arrested because of this little situation, and it's a little bit much for me. What do you think, Juana?
Again, flock cameras are supposed to be there to deter criminals, right? From, of course, committing crimes in that area, or even just being able to, find kidnappers and things of that nature. They're supposed to be good, used for a good purpose. But in this instance, there are police officers, the people who are supposed to protect and serve, they're using it for their own personal reasons, i.e., this last situation where in Georgia, where three police officers were they weren't arrested, but I believe they were brought up on charges regarding them using the flock cameras to monitor or tail people they used to be in relationships with, or even their significant other. And I'm unsure of like the full story, but as from what I understand is I believe were they arrested, Nicole? I can't I don't want to
Um,
speak to it. I don't have all of the facts, but I know that I saw much mugshots, but I did see that they also resigned upon getting charges brought up.
okay, so basically, in DeKalb County, in July, there was a sheriff. I don't want to mess up his name. It says he worked in the sheriff department. His name is Sergeant Kabiru Salawu or Salah.
Okay.
I don't want to, mess up his name, but he was fired and arrested after an internal investigation was, happened. It was because he unauthorized use of flock technology, and he's facing charges including violation of oath of office and misuse of license plates data. And in August, another officer, actually he's a chief, Gregory Patrick, confirms that he's the 8th officer who has been suspended. So the other guy seemed like he's the only one that was arrested. The other ones were suspended for violating the department policies involving Flock. 5 allegedly used the system to track vehicles without a legitimate law enforcement purpose. 3 others reportedly had legitimate law enforcement purposes, but did not follow required procedures or documentation rules. None of the 8 officers had been criminally charged according to the department. Now the thing is, I know someone who worked for the DeKalb Police Department, and they're very strict on these policies. So for the officers who actually, had reasons to do it but didn't follow through with everything that they needed, like they have to dot all their I's and cross all their T's. And if they didn't do that, that's frowned upon, because why wouldn't you follow the procedure? They're there for a reason, There's I think there was another one. I think there was another one in so this one was in Fayetteville, Georgia. 3 officers were fired after an audit reportedly found outside the scope of their work. Including their own license plate. They also looked up their own license plate. I wonder if these are new officers though, because that's like when we go on to a people search and you looking up people on the internet or whatever, and you want to see, okay, if I can see this for them, let me see what I can see for myself. Like, that's what it sounds like.
I don't know. I feel as if, if there's no real criminal reason as to why you're looking these things up, why are you looking them up? It's an invasion of privacy, and that's the concern. And that's the concern with a lot of things, right? Because say, for instance, AI, that can be used for good, but it could also, in the wrong hands, be used for bad. And from what I know, some cops are the most corrupt, okay?
Yes.
I mean, they will abuse the power that they have for their own personal gain. Just I believe I just saw something in Florida where this guy, he was just hired at the department in April 2022, and he looked up his estranged wife's license plate 770 times between the time he was hired and now. Why? Because you want to track her, see where she's going. Trust me, I know an abuser when I see one. And I also know a sociopath when I see one. Like, why it's a method of control. Like, okay, why would you look up her plate 770 times? That is obsessive, and you now are labeled as a stalker. You're using police or government equipment for your own personal reasons.
This is the crazy part though, because flock cameras, for those of you who don't know what flock cameras are, flock cameras can capture information about where vehicles travel. That means this technology can potentially create detailed pictures of someone's movement. Now imagine an officer having legitimate access to that information, but decide to use it because they're curious about, their ex-partner, like Quana was just explaining about the ex-wife or whatever the case may be, a neighbor, a friend, family members, someone they're dating, like someone they have personal disagreement with. That's where the power becomes dangerous.
Yes.
Because the average citizen doesn't have access to the same information.
That's right.
There's an imbalance there.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. And it's like, when I see these things, you know, I'm sure that there are going to be many other departments who are going to be conducting these audits if they haven't done so already, and handing out a lot of
Pink
either
slips.
pink slips or suspensions, whatever it may be. Um, because you see now, you know, especially in New York City, where we see that some of these officers have already retired, and then they're getting them for stealing time, right?
Yeah.
Stealing time, doing things just so unethical that you would be like, wow, okay. And then some of these people are even getting off with their pension. Like, you know, they've done they've stolen time or stolen hours for, you know, 6 or 7 years, but hey, they still get to leave with their pension. And it's like, wow, if that was someone else, that would not happen. This is why they do these things, because they can invade privacy, do all these things with no real consequence. You know, they still get their pension, they still get all these different things that's afforded to them. And if it was somebody else, it would not even fly like that. If it was in another public sector, they would not be able to get the benefits that they get, you know.
Okay, so like yeah, I mean I feel the same with you. I do have a few questions that I want you, Quana, to answer, and the audience as well. I want you guys to respond to this. We need to know your feedback in regards to how you guys feel. Just answer the questions, put it in the comment sections, and Shaquana and I will respond back. So basically, the first question is: should police officers be allowed access to the flock data without a warrant?
Should they be allowed access to the flock data without a warrant? No, I feel like, well, not so much a warrant, but I feel like if there's legitimate business reason for them to utilize it, I feel like there should be some sort of safeguard in place where they have to state why they're using it before gaining access, right? They shouldn't just be able to log in. You know how we have to do certain things, like a two-factor authentication type thing. Hey,
Mhm.
listen, what's the reason for using this? Is there a case number attached to this? And they put that case number in or whatever else. Otherwise, they don't get access. You know what I'm saying?
So that's funny that you said that. So the next question is: should every search require a documented case number?
Yeah, yeah.
Show
You know
some
my
form
thoughts
of
on that.
accountability. Yes, I was in here. This is the reason why I did this. This is the case number for this situation. Yes, I agree with that one right there.
Hmm.
Um, should an officer automatically lose access if an audit detects suspicious behavior? Absolutely.
If an audit, first of all, what I do know is that if an audit detects suspicious behavior, they will continue to give them access. It's like the feds, right? They got to build a case. So if there's only
Oh, yes.
one, right? So they will probably, if there's only one entry, okay, that look a little suspicious, but okay, let's wait. Let's see what this particular officer does going
The paper
forward, and they're
trail.
going to build a case, right? So,
Yeah.
but once they have enough evidence, by that time it's too late because they coming to them and walking them off the job. You know what I'm saying? But it's better to, flag it, okay, and then watch.
Okay, yes. I actually know that to be a fact. We're going to speak about that a little later.
Hmm.
I spoke to you about it earlier.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the next one is should citizens be notified when their vehicle information is searched?
Um, I don't know. No, no, because if it's for a legitimate crime fighting reason, then no, right?
There's a little gray area because wasn't we speaking about the one in Florida, the one who's the ex was he looked it up like 700 and something times. Wasn't his
Uh-huh.
wife told that there was a investigation going on because of it?
Yeah, so right. So it looked like somebody had already leaked it, maybe to the through to the news outlets, because it was I believe the Associated Press or somebody that reached out to her and say, "What do you think about this?" So she didn't even
Okay.
know. So I
Okay.
think it was an
That's a little different.
internal leak.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
it was
different.
an internal leak. And then she reached out to him like, "Oh shoot. Hey, listen, I just got a call from XYZ." And he like, "Oh." And it was at that moment where he realized he was one caught. So he had to go to his boss and tell his boss what he had been doing. But
Okay.
it had already been leaked to the news outlet.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so
Um,
I don't think that they should do that unless they're because I'm thinking if they're doing that, if the license plate is being searched for either a criminal reason or an investigation reason, something like that. I don't think that they should be notified unless they're a part of some sort of case.
okay. The next question, the last question. This is the next and last question. Who
Hmm.
should oversee the police department when the alleged misuse comes from inside the department?
Um, that's a little tricky, but they do have internal affairs. That's why
Yeah, the
internal affairs is
GBI.
there.
Well, I say GBI,
So
but the Bureau.
yeah, yeah. So they do have, internal affairs, and internal affairs
Mhm.
at that point, usually with internal affairs, there's people that are no that aren't even associated with the department, cannot be swayed, right? That's not
Right.
easily led and weak-willed. And we like that. So once internal affairs is involved, hey, they're gonna uncover some things, and it may not be pretty. But yeah, so I think internal affairs, I think they already have a good system in place in order to oversee an investigation in case the corruption goes up the ranks to like a captain or whoever else. I don't know, a sergeant. I don't know. I don't know the ranks in the police
Right.
department, but yeah. So
Oh,
yeah.
child, listen, this flock camera, this flock technology got me, man, because it's extreme when they I feel like they're extremely like misusing this technology. It's a great technology to have for the police department because they're able to locate criminals, and because
Right.
that's what it's basically used for, to locate these criminals or lost vehicles, stolen vehicles, or whatever the case may be. So that's a great you know program to be able to use. But it's like when you
Yeah.
have officers like this, like what we're describing tonight, what we're talking about tonight, misusing it for their own personal gain, like
Yeah.
it's just
It's
messing
tough,
up
right?
everything.
Absolutely. And you know what? What that does too, because a lot of people do not have faith in the police department, right? So what this does is further decreases the amount of faith that people have in the police department that they're actually going to do the right thing. That's where, so that's where um it really is affected, not just like invasion of privacy, but the fact that people now like, I can't even trust my own neighborhood police
Right.
officer, right? Like I can't even do that because they're not upstanding citizens, they're criminals. You know what I'm saying? Like what? So it really sucks, and again, I I've had the displeasure and the pleasure of being around some police officers, and there are some corrupt ones out there,
Sad to
and a
say.
lot of these ones, there's some of them that got that were no one without the badge. They were beat up on, they were bullied, so they take that and they use that and abuse the power that they now have to be able to bully other people. And it's just,
Yeah,
yeah, it's not cool. It's not cool at
it's
all.
really
So
sad.
yeah, it absolutely is. So I'm hoping that anybody involved in this, anybody, once they uncover more people, because they will, because this just didn't come out of nowhere. They've been doing this for a while. May not be with the flock cameras, it's just more advanced technology, but they have been doing this um for a while, running people's plays, running you know, people's criminal background, you know, their family members criminal background. Mind your business. What are you
For no
doing? You know what
reason.
I'm saying? For no reason, just so you can see, just so you can be nosy and up in their
Sorry.
business. God bless you. Just so
Thank
you
you.
could be nosy and up in their business is like, what? Like, come on. You know, that's not something that you should be utilizing for that reason. And guess what? I'm a taxpayer. You're using my money that was poured into this department's technology for your own personal gain. I have a problem with that. I have a
Hmm.
problem with that. You trying to get me? You trying to use the system against me, and I'm paying for this. I put in on that. You know what I'm saying? It's like
It on that.
it's crazy, girl. Yeah, I put in on that. You know, um, it. It disgusts me for sure. But I'm hoping that these people are brought to justice, and I hope that it deters other officers from doing the same thing, especially if there are consequences to the actions, that there are consequences that match that crime. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that that's what happens.
Yes. Technology is supposed to make us safer, but safety without accountability can become surveillance. And surveillance without boundaries can become abuse.
Yeah.
So tonight we're asking whether police should have tools to fight crime. We're asking something much bigger. Who watches the watcher? Because having access to information is power. And when you give somebody power over other people's privacy, they must be accountability attached to it.
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
Must be.
yeah.
There must be a level of accountability attached to the power that they're giving, these officers and just people in general, whether you work for the government, whether you're in a public sector like unless whether you're in the army or Marines, whatever it is, sometimes you have access to these things and we're trusting you to do the right thing, and when you don't do the right thing, it diminishes the amount of trust that we, the public, has in law enforcement, in the government, in many different sectors, especially if they're being used with malicious intent, right? Yeah,
Yeah, so
no.
basically, being able to, they feel like they have the power. So I mentioned earlier, by them having this power, that power is being put in the wrong hands. They have
Yeah.
the access to be able to, see what it is that they're going to see, and they're just the wrong
Yeah.
people that's getting it. Everyone doesn't. Now, I just want to make this clear: like every officer that is in these departments are not misusing these tools. It's just
Hmm.
these certain ones that, I mean, hey, we never know, right? We never know who really is doing it. But I just want to say, like, there are officers that are out there doing their job, who are fighting the crime, who are keeping us safer, who are not sitting
Hmm.
up there worrying about who their girl or wives are around, or whatever the case may be, or did they really go to the mall like they said they were?
So
You're not really
serious.
doing that. But for the
Like
officers that
stalking.
are, y'all need to stop it, because clearly they coming for your behind. Now let me stop.
Stalking, like, oh, let me see how many traffic tickets. Did they pay that traffic ticket? Did they do? Mind your business. Is it really that serious? But the crazy part is that once they do these things, and I'm sure, like, I think I'm not far off with what I'm about to say. I'm sure that once they look these things up and they find something, they go out and they spread that business, the business of that person, and just slander and do all types of stuff. And you're like, well, how did they know this? How did this person know that? It's because you got somebody on the inside that that has leaked this information, or just talking out the side of their neck. Sometimes it's just to make somebody feel bad or whatever else, or to have one up on a person. It's like, man, get a life. Man, sir, get a life.
But
You know,
if it's to the point where they pull up the information just so they can pull up on you? That's
Imagine.
scary.
But then what's even more scary is that these people were doing these and and then um maybe pulling up on them, but just watching.
Oh, in
Not
the
even
dark, they
my
lurking. Mm.
lurking, not even making themselves known. Like, ew, like that is gag to me. It's like, oh
That's
man.
an eerie feeling.
Ugh. It's so many things I think about, and not to mention you have to worry about your crazy behind exes who are, who try to sabotage you and do stuff like that. Then you got to worry about the law enforcement now doing that as well, and it's like, oh gosh, wait, when does it all stop? Like, I just, it's too much. It is too much. It's too much.
Before we end the before we end the show, I wanna mention something that happened. It's all over news outlets and everything like that. So
Hmm.
apparently last week, I just want fellow postal workers to understand. Okay, I need y'all to understand something. It's the same with the police department. Like there's a fingerprint. Our footprints is everywhere, right? So anything you log
Hmm.
into, anything if you're going into anything, when you're on the clock, it is
Hmm.
traced. It can all be traced back to you. If it's an email that you're taking, if you're going onto something, everything has your numbers. Okay.
Hmm.
So let's go back to the post office. Everyone knows I'm a postal worker, right? So it was brought to my attention. It wasn't in my office, it was in another office, but it was brought to my attention that in Stone Mountain, Georgia, there was an officer. Not I said an officer. Girl, you hear me? Cause we up here talking about these officers. I'm sitting up here. I still got the officers in my brain.
It's
It was a
okay.
postal carrier. Okay. So everyone knows that, as a postal worker, we have credit cards that we're only supposed to be buying gas or anything for the truck. That's
Well,
it.
is this public knowledge?
This is
Because if it's not public knowledge, I don't think that's something that we should discuss.
I believe it is public knowledge because what do you mean? It is public knowledge.
Because you said there was somebody in Stone Mountain. I want to make sure that we're
It's
so.
out there. It's already yeah.
There you
It's
go.
been
Okay, that's my, yeah.
broadcasted and everything. Yeah, it's all on
Right.
social media. It was on the news. It's everywhere.
Okay. All right.
So
Want to
yeah.
make sure.
So basically this young lady, I feel bad for her because she's only I think she's like 30 years old. She has like, two small babies, and I feel bad for her, but she has been arrested because she stole using the gas card that is only supposed to be for work purposes. She used it on her personal vehicle. And I believe that she also, you know what, I don't want to say that part because I'm not really too sure. I'm just going off of what someone else told me, okay? But that one she used personal on her personal vehicle, and I heard tossing mail as well. We all know tossing mail is frowned upon. Like if you work at the post office, if you have mail, all you got to do is bring it back. Bring it back to the office. Let it go out the very next day. You do not need to throw it in the trash or
Oh,
wherever
she
it's
was
going.
throwing mail in the trash.
Yes,
That's what sourcing mail means.
tossing mail means throwing it in the
Oh,
trash. Yes, I'm sorry.
ooh.
That's postal lingo. I'm sorry, but yeah. So she was stealing gas, and she felt that because she was doing it like around the area of the office that they went and pick up on, that she was using the card. But that doesn't make any sense because in order to use the card, we have our own personal pins that
Hmm.
only you have access to. And she tried to say, oh, so many people got her pin. That doesn't even make sense. No one is supposed to have your pin. No one. So that's also frowned upon.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Because
she
she
got
gave the other people had her pin when she's supposed to keep it safe.
that part, and she was getting the gas after hours. So like if she was getting the gas during her work hours, that'd be different. She's
She's
getting the
gonna
gas,
be
and
on an episode of Stupid Criminals
listen, and let me
because
explain something. Let me explain something.
what?
Please understand this. Anybody who's worked in accounts payable knows this. Okay, when the bill comes to us to pay these bills, to put it in the system, whatever. There's a picture attached to you. You sitting up there putting gas in the truck. There is a picture. It is a Word credit card. There was a picture attached to it, so you can see the truck that was there. You can see the person who was standing there. So if the person is pumping gas and there's no postal truck next to it, what do you think is going to happen? You got to make this make
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. I guess she wasn't thinking, and she may have thought that, okay, this is just a small thing.
No,
I
ma'am.
won't be, I won't be penalized, or no one would ever find out. I think we've all made stupid mistakes. And I know I have. And sometimes you don't think that someone's going to find out, but unfortunately, in this instance, her mistake is very public, and a lot of people know about this. So, you know, it really sucks, but it's one that will she will remember for sure. And she has. I understand you said she has children, so now she has to deal with that. Her children, being away from her children, if they do decide to prosecute and make her do some sort of time. Now her children are going to be affected. So it's just like, for every action, there's consequences, and unfortunately, you know that has yet to be seen. I guess you have to figure out what they're going to do, but I'm hoping that it's more like, hey, listen, you got to pay these fines, slap on the wrist, don't do this again, because I think that it just sucks. And listen, times are hard, man. She was like, man, I gotta get the gas is what, $5?
But
She was
listen,
like,
this
nah,
is
I
what
got to
I was just
I
talking about
got
this
to.
today in my office. I was like, listen, I'm not saying what she did was right,
Yeah.
but we don't know how far she comes, and gas prices are high. Okay, we don't know. She got two small babies. We don't know if she's doing this by herself. We don't know anything about her life. You know, there's a lot of people. So coming down here, there's a lot of things that they do down here that a lot of people get away with a lot of stuff that's frowned upon. And it doesn't matter where you are. It's not supposed to happen.
Right.
But they get away with a lot of stuff. So when these people are sitting up here getting in trouble for these things, and they're like, hey, but such and such, such and such told me it was okay, or whatever the case may be, because there are people before them. She's only been here 2 to 3 years, I believe. So I can just only
Not.
imagine who told her. There are other people within the post office who've been doing it way longer.
I get it, but you got caught, boo. Don't be letting the whole ship go down. You got caught.
Now,
You take your punishment and go on about your business.
listen, that's why I'm saying this is a message to all postal workers who are watching this show. Whatever it is that you think you're getting away with, boo boo, it's over.
I
Stop.
mean, mainly
Let's
because
hope let's hope they ain't got no paper trail. Let's hope that when you're sitting up there doing what you're doing right now, starting from today, keep it going, okay? Don't backtrack, because you're gonna get caught.
listen, I
They there.
mean,
They looking.
and excuse me. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Squeeze. She
Just
yawning.
by I know it's crazy. Like, it just came out of nowhere. Just by her saying, okay, there are other people that does that. There's other people that do it too. Now there's going to be a huge investigation launched into that entire branch, and they're going to go back years upon years to see who's doing what, and there'll be potentially other arrests, other the other carriers or whoever will be reprimanded for doing this. So I'm sure that we'll hear more to come once they conduct a full investigation. So, ooh,
So the
God.
crazy thing is, they usually make you resign, or fire you, whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
And I really do want to know more about exactly what happened here, because from my understanding, I heard the little stories about people who did get let go, but the person that I'm speaking of right now, not this young lady, but the one who got let go before, she got away with doing it for like years. So, and it was way more than like a little over $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
So
And gas?
yeah, using a gas card.
Oh
We had up
wow.
north in New York, we had a supervisor. He was a supervisor. He got demoted. He was just about to be a postmaster, I believe. He got demoted. Oh, I'm lying. Wait, there's two different situations. The one I'm referring to right now was a postmaster, and he was demoted to a supervisor because he got caught using he was using a gas card himself. So it was either you get
Yeah.
fired or you get demoted. He took the
And
demotion.
the demotion, does that come with less pay?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
I
He got the demotion
mean,
because the postmaster is the one who's over the office, or, you know, in this case, like up north, it's either you taking care of 5 offices or one office. So I don't know when he was a postmaster where that was. I met him as a supervisor.
okay.
And then
All right, listen.
there was another one who basically he he was actually moving upstate New York because he got a higher position and ended up getting demoted because he was looking up like how do you say it? I don't want to how do you say it, like some new content on the word computer.
Oh,
You got a
okay.
home computer for that, sir. Why
Wild. I
why
mean,
you
you know
do this?
what? People, you can never explain why people do certain things, right? But at the same time, these people are getting the necessary punishment from their actions. So there's a lot of things that in the post office you hear a lot of people about, people stealing mail. There's mail fraud going on in the post office. You hear a lot of things that are going on. And you know what? They're gonna start cracking down on so many different things, especially because I'm pretty sure that people are gonna start calling for them to take action, do something about this because these people have gotten away with these things way too long.
So it's not
There's
so
going
much
to be
about
a call to
people.
action.
It's not so much about just the people calling because they've called. It's really about the higher ups following through. It's
Hmm.
about it's because if a customer is calling about either a package not being received, or their checks or anything like that, right? There's a procedure for everything. And if you
Hmm.
have a manager or a supervisor who doesn't do their part, they got to do their due diligence so it can get to where it has to get, right? If
Right.
they sit there and
Hmm.
let it just fall through, then these
Yeah.
carriers, because I'm gonna say 90% of carriers are doing exactly what it is that they're supposed to do. You have that, right? But then you
Yeah.
got that other 10% that feel like they can just do whatever it is that they want to do because they've been doing it, they haven't gotten caught, they don't say nothing, yada yada yada. And
Yeah.
when I say they don't say anything, I mean it's just not customers complaining. There's also other carriers because that means this person, they're probably like a comp person. That means that
Mm.
person goes, they take care of 5 different routes. When we're off of our route, this person's taking care of our routes. That's 9 times out of 10. That's the person who's usually doing the just deceiving.
Mm. Well,
You know.
listen, whatever it is, however it goes, whatever the procedure is, I am eager to hear about what they're going to do to combat these things, as well as what kind of punishment that they're going to give these people who do, in fact, break the law. The people that we trust, um, we put in positions that we're supposed to trust you, and you take that for granted. So, hey, I'm eager to hear what the punishment is going to be and if there'll be others. So, I guess more to come on that, right, Nicole?
Yeah, people got to really be held accountable for their actions. Like if this is what you
Uh,
did, then you got to just get
that's
what you
right.
get.
That's right. Eat that. Eat that. You get what I say, you get what you get and you don't get upset. Eat that. So, like I said, we've all done some stuff in our days and we've gotten a punishment for it. I know I have,
You live and
and
you
it's like
learn.
you live, you learn, and then you
Yes.
don't do it again, hopefully, right? So,
Yes. You
well,
shouldn't be
this
doing
was
it
a
again.
good show. Yeah, I mean, show. I mean, sometimes some people just are repeat offenders, even if they get caught, people don't, some people just don't learn, and
Mhm.
you're going to have those people who don't learn, but yeah, it is what
Sad
it
to
is with
say.
them. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we thank you so much for watching Real Conversation. Again, I am your host, Shaquana Terry.
And I'm Nicole Jones.
And you can find us every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube at real_convos_podcast. And you can also find us on Facebook.
At Real Conversations 2021.
So we thank you so much for watching us tonight, and God bless.